if Andrew's gonna eat another ice cream cone, it will be.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games in the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives from varying skill range. I am the Emerald of this episode, Andrew. With me are Guy Fieri, Keith,
Hello.
and our Dave Ramsey, Aaron.
Dave Ramsey? Do you mean Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, I got you one of the Ramsey brothers.
I was
not
trying
brothers.
to think. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't
that's not
right
even
at all.
a
I got you,
family.
He
I
said it
got
was
you
such
one
a
of the
straight
Ramsey
face,
brothers.
though. They're not brothers.
Gosh.
Andrew.
They both
you
are
might-
called Ramsey. You're telling me they're not brothers?
So you
One
might
is
as well
very
call
British.
you Jeffrey Epstein because he looks like what's his name there?
Yeah, come on. Come on. Dave Ramsey. Get out of here.
This week, we played Beastro. Oh, I just got the name of the game.
Nice.
You're
You are
kidding.
playing a beast who's in charge of a bistro.
I hope that's
You're
joking though.
You did not.
Oh,
just
I did
figure
not
that
look
out.
up the studio.
He
But I
still
don't
has
know. He
not-
said Dave Ramsey, so for all
Yeah,
I know, that he really did mean that. He did not realize the name Beastro.
But Beastro is brought to you by Timberline Studios. Beastro is a cozy. Yeah, it's a cozy simulator, but it's also a roguelike deck builder, which is a very surprising twist. You play a. You're not a red panda. Are you a lynx? I think you're a lynx. You play an animal that is in charge of an
Fox?
animal
I
village who
thought you
has
were
a
a fox.
restaurant.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive you're a fox.
No, I think you're a lynx.
Are you talking about the little spirit? The spirit might be. Hey, you're not
No,
a
the
lynx.
spirit's a ferret.
Yeah, that's a fox,
I'm
Andrew.
pretty sure you're a fox.
No, because he has the markings on the head. That's a lynx. And
A
his
lynx
ears.
is like a cat type of creature.
Well, either
Yeah,
way,
this isn't a cat.
you're playing a creature that is a chef of a restaurant,
You-
and it's
yeah,
the end of the
just-
world, and a spirit that normally is in charge of protecting the world is in danger. You end up, teaming up with it to start creating magical dishes, so creatures can go out in the wilderness, fight, gather loot from the dead animals they killed to bring back to the restaurant so you can cook it up again. Very kind of similar to Monster Hunter. But going around, whether or not this is a game you should play or something you should pass on, starting off, for me, Beastro, this was a surprise. I actually really like this game. I remember seeing the trailer for this, I think, not during the showcase. I don't know, it was some sort of sizzle reel. And I saw it and I went, it looks like a cozy game. I enjoy cozy games all right. And for me, I was just like, I don't know, this just looks okay. Like you're just cooking a restaurant, like you're running a restaurant, serving animals, like whatever. But I think it was you, Keith, and someone else in our Discord was like, oh, it's actually kind of surprising. Because then I didn't realize it's also a roguelike deck builder where you are actually trying to progress and feed warriors to kind of continue on their quest. And I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I actually had a lot of fun with this. It was a very surprising game. So yeah, this is a game.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the way games are named, and puns aside, whether all of us on the podcast may or may not have understood the pun inherent in the name of Beastro, that maybe it's because of
Bistro's
Beastro.
restaurant.
I just immediately wanted to I was just like, oh, this sounds like it's gonna be roguelike. It didn't look like it. It's got animals in the front, but I gotta check it out. Looked at it, and I feel like I saw the card builder aspect of it in there. But either way, I was curious what was going on, and it is a lot. And it's something we talk about in a lot of games where if you're doing a lot of things, you have to do one of them really well, or at least do all of them good. And I think that Beastro does all of them good and actually some of them really well. So I think it actually nails both of those, which is a rarity in this type of genre or game that takes on this many genres. So yeah, it's whether or not it's a definite game, it's definitely a surprising game is what I would say.
Real quick, we're both wrong. Apparently you play a caracal cat. He's
really?
a cat. Yeah,
Well, at least-
apparently.
At
Or an
least you're
Xbox
wrong.
Fire. Well, so are
Xbox
you. You
Fire-
said you're a fox.
I've
Yeah.
seen those cats, though. They've got the really long fur on the ears. There's a famous one on YouTube all the time hissing at people. It looks nothing like that. But, okay. So, I have a phrase that I hate to use on this podcast. And that phrase is, this game really wasn't for me. Because I hate that phrase because it's like, well, yeah, that's just a cop-out of any game you didn't like. You can just say it wasn't for you because it was for somebody else. But I will say this. I have not found a cozy game. I would say that's majority of this is a cozy game because even the battler aspect of it isn't really all that intense. It's done with puppets, but we'll talk about that more later.
So that was awesome.
But I think it's a clever way of doing it, yes. But it is also kind of a muted way of doing it as well. But again, we'll talk about that later. So I would say majority of this does feel a lot like a cozy game. I have not found a cozy game I've loved. And this is not going to be one of them either.
It blows my mind. Like I have never met someone who does not like Stardew Valley, and you're just like, you like hate Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I really did not like that game because that's the other thing. The other thing I have not found that I liked, if there's a category of a video game that I have not liked, I've not found a cozy game that I've liked, and I haven't found one of those factory games that you like, Andrew, that I've enjoyed.
I've been on the hunt for one. I've been
See, Andrew's already just jazzed just by mentioning the name of it. He's already like, ooh. So I don't know why they don't connect with me, because you know what's really funny is I was, scrolling through some articles and it was like, here's 10 cozy games that all dads love. And I was like, well, I'm a dad. I don't love any cozy games.
That's me.
So I was like, is something wrong with me? Is something inherently wrong with me? Am I supposed to love these? All that's to say, I don't know. I don't want to just dismiss it because you like it. So there's probably some things here that you're going to really like about it, but there's probably going to be a lot of things that I crap on about this. And I just need everyone to understand it's coming from a place of me trying to discover why I don't like these games.
Do you not like mini games, Aaron?
Well, that's the other thing. It's just a collection of mini games.
It is. Well, the cozy part of it is.
Honestly, 90% of the gameplay is mini games.
I think we need to get into it. I have a suspicion that it's one of those. Andrew probably got a lot further than we did, and he saw more than we did. But I also, I don't know.
That looks nothing. See how I said they had the pointy ears like that? That is not the main character. It's not.
Actually, I don't know. Actually, I can see that. It's got that very angular shaped face going backwards. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, yeah, I think because this is gonna be one of those too. I think I actually probably agree on a lot of the things you're gonna say, Aaron. It's just probably the differentiating factor is that I don't hate that style and the things that might not be great about this game, I guess, if that makes sense.
I just find cozy games not there's nothing compelling to me. I don't really like the loop. I don't feel like it's really progressing anywhere just because it feels so static. And I feel like there's no stakes. So I end up just kind of like, why am I here? Why am I doing these things? I don't find this very enjoyable. Is kind of my
and I kind of find that surprising. Cozy games are all about the grind, and you love a game with grind.
I do, but I like a grind with progress.
Hey,
I like a good
progress.
grind. Huh?
There's usually progress in cozy games.
Yeah, but they're kind of menial, just tasks. I don't feel like there's progress. There's just tasks. It's like, go catch a fish. Game. All right.
Oh, and Diablo, you're doing dungeons. Those are just tasks. You're tasked.
No, that's to get loot. That's a god fantasy. That is I'm building up to go through and wreck the next dungeon. That's what I'm building towards. I'm building towards collecting grubs in the morning. I don't know.
So
that's just not. No, I'm just saying the stakes there are just, I can't die.
I get it. Stakes.
So it's like,
it's Beastro.
Yeah. So it just, I will say though I think there is an element of this game that I do actually really enjoy, and I thought was very, very clever. So I will have at least one really good compliment on this, but just overall, the genre of game, it just hasn't gotten me yet.
All right. We'll get into the story of Beastro. As I said, this is a different universe. They never say the planet, but either way, in this planet, aliens are sentient beings. There's this little, I think he's a ferret. Maybe he's a fox, but he's a spirit that is normally in charge of protecting this world. But I guess this world has progressively kind of gone downhill. These rifts have opened up where these terrible creatures have come in and just kind of wiped out a lot of people. So there are these small pocket towns that each have a kind of a fenced-in area. And this creature is trying to once again close another rift, but fails. And as he's dying, your character stumbles upon him, gives him some food. He decides to team up with you while he tries to recover. And then you kind of discover that as you guys team up and cook delicious meals, you could actually empower warriors to go out to close these rifts for you, bring back the loot that they get, so you can make bigger and better dishes. And you are trying to save this world by closing up all these rifts and also figure out who's opening these rifts as they keep popping up here and there. But as you're going around, you are discovering other towns of other creatures, each one associated with a different flavor palette. You have umami, salt, bitter, sweet, and so on and so forth. I don't feel like naming them all. But anyway, so yeah, you are trying to basically build up this town and try to recruit new fighters, so you got to close the rift. But yeah, overall, it's for the story. I actually got to say, I like this game. Is very kind of light and bright and kind of pretty. And it's like, no, this is end times. Like, everyone's dead. Like, this is one of the last few towns alive. But you know, one thing I always wonder when I play games like this with like different creatures. Don't tell me I'm the only one who thinks this, but how do they breed? Not like in the actual act, but there's no other cats. As far as I can tell, everyone's going to die. There's literally no other birds. You have another guy who's a panda. He's the only panda. And it's like, well, at this point, everyone's dead now, right? Like, no one's going to be crossbreeding here.
Are there any married characters in this game? I don't recall running into any.
I don't think so. I think there is a kid that runs around the village. But
okay, so there is at least a child.
I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume there's probably some plot holes in the story. I didn't progress super far in the story, but I would imagine that there's probably some plot holes. Just walking around town, this is just a because this is way ahead of gameplay. Your little chicken pen where you have chickens and you're supposed to have them.
There's like chicken dinosaurs,
but there's like a path that you can just walk out that's open. So if you're wondering why they're wandering around, because there's actually no closed path. I don't think the mapping was done very well. That's a whole different conversation.
You're in a closed city. Like, anytime you go to the
you're in a closed city, but I'm talking about your pen that you're supposed to keep your animals enclosed. And I think they just didn't notice that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
there are loose chickens in the town you can still get, or like pet.
Well, either way, that's way ahead of this anyways. Let's get to the story.
My bigger question was, so there's monsters from the Rift. You're an animal in a village of animals, but you also have animals.
I know. I always love when shows are like, they have like sentient animals, but they have animals as pets. It's like, is this slavery?
Yeah. Like you can pet the cow thing, the okra or whatever they're called.
Cow?
That you get the milk from. And like you could pet it. And I was like, how weird that you're an animal petting an animal.
Yeah. I wanted the same thing when my kids watch Peppa Pig. It's like these are all different animals, and they go to the zoo, and it's like, is this slave free?
Are we not?
It's a little different, Keith. Okay, if your dog started petting your cat, it'd be a little strange.
If my dog was sentient, then maybe it wouldn't be weird.
Okay, well, if your dog was sentient and your cat wasn't sentient, and your dog is petting your cat and treating it like its pet, it would be weird.
Listen, I don't live in the Beastro multiverse, Aaron.
Story-wise, we've been here a million times. I don't think there's anything that was like, oh, that's kind of weird, with the exception of the storytelling of the battles. I think that is the one element of this game that I think not the only element. There's another element, but I think at least story-wise, the one thing that is kind of cool is the puppet shows every time for the battling. Because other than that, everything else is like, I've done different versions of this, not with animals, but we've done different versions of this. But I was like, oh, this is kind of a clever way. So
I feel like there's not a lot of cozy games that deal with end times.
No, I guess that's true. I guess if you're going to say in this genre, we haven't seen it, then yeah, sure.
Well, so I was thinking of it outside of the cozy game, because again, when this really boils down to it, whether or not it's a super in-depth or overly strategic card builder or deck builder, it is still a roguelike too. And so in some ways I see the cozy element of the game really just adding to the storyline of it, almost like a Hades, not nearly the same in any way because, Hades is I think less interactive in the overworld, but like the cozy element is like your overworld to that roguelike deck builder element to it. And so I thought it was a neat way to say, hey, here's some stuff you can actually do while you're, kind of preparing for your next run. Make it a little more interactive, make it storytelling and give you that element of it. Because something that's interesting about it that we actually did talk about with Hades that it seems to do a little bit here, I don't know how well it holds up, is the dialogue shifting a little bit based on how your previous run was. I guess it's a little more entwined to the story, like that storytelling piece, but I thought that was kind of cool a little bit.
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from. But I will say, but I didn't care. Like, I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a lot of information that's being given to me from other characters. A lot of times they just kind of, there's like some backstory stuff. Because, like, as I said, each one of these warriors are associated to a village out in the wilderness. So the very first one you meet is Umami, which also, another question, who is that? What is that guy? Literally, Bitter is like a dog. You have Sweet, which is like a bunny. Yeah. Umami's just this blob. And it's like, what, this guy isn't even like an actual like creature.
I don't know. He's like a plant.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
Creature.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if like your character wasn't actually an animal at all. You were just a beast. Because I don't know, it seems to want to have monsters, talking and sentient animals, and then regular animals. So it was just like, I don't know. I guess just make them all beasts.
I don't know. It's just all over the place.
They vaguely resemble things. But yeah, I thought, because when he first shows up in the game, I was like, oh, I thought what he was a bad guy in disguise.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was a monster on the outside in disguise, because you only see the monsters in the intro scene very quickly. So I was like, oh, he's clearly wearing a stupid disguise. And then you like are meeting him, and I was like, oh no, this is like a real character. I was like, I thought it was just somebody dressed up like in a bad disguise, but
and Aaron, you're wrong. You are actually animals, because the crow, who's a blacksmith, he creates you a crow bell.
No, I know. Right. I know they're actually animals here, okay. But I'm just saying they would have been better off if they just said like things vaguely resembled animals, but they weren't really animals. They were beasts.
Okay.
It would have just been more consistent. There's consistency issues here, people. Okay? That would have helped.
Well, it's I think I lost my thought. I think I thought
it wasn't a very good thought anyway.
Uh-oh. It's gone. Not. It's gone.
It's gone forever.
But yeah, the characters, I of course, with them being associated with flavor palettes, they kind of have obviously personality with kind of those flavor palettes. Except for I guess Umami, because once again, what is that? It's like savory, isn't it? But yeah, you got the sweet bunny, who's also kind of nice, but also is very violent. Bitter's just grumpy old dog. But the characters, I kind of wanted more out of them. So the story of this game I enjoyed. Like, there's obviously a mystery too of like who's opening these rifts, and I've gotten pretty far. I think I'm on the last rift I got to close. And the story, yeah, hasn't done like any crazy twists or turns, but I enjoyed the story. To me, it wasn't just a means to an end. It actually was kind of interesting.
It's an interesting story, even though it doesn't address how they mate. I think we really needed to know that.
Yeah, not like physically how they do that, because I am not into that. I just want to know, for the sake of the population, how are they progressing?
You were the one who brought that up first. I
want to know. It's because everything I'm doing is irrelevant. Are they just going to go extinct because they don't have a mate?
Maybe they are. I just that wasn't where my head was at.
Yeah, Andrew, you should have kept that to yourself.
You're not telling me you think of that too.
Nope.
You furry freak.
No, because it's also like I said, my kids watch Peppa Pig, and I'm like, these animals.
Oh, great. You think about it with Peppa Pig too.
Hopefully they find the exact species that they are.
Well, in Peppa Pig, it seems to work out just fine because there's George, and then they had another baby. So clearly they're repopulating just fine in Peppa Pig. I don't think you have to be concerned with it unless you're really interested, Andrew, and it sounds like you are.
Goodness, so disgusting.
But anyway,
Someone
let's
check
get
this
to the
man's hard drive.
gameplay.
That's all I'm saying.
So in Beastro, you kind of have these two stages. You have your typical day-to-day, the cozy simulator aspect. You wake up in the morning, you tend to your animals, you feed your chickens, they give you eggs. They also give you their legs. I don't know. I guess these chickens kind of
Again, that
shed
part
legs.
I found weird.
Well, that part is clearly like they don't want to kill anything.
I know.
They don't want you slaughtering it, so they just give you their body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their way of avoiding you having to chop their heads off and then butcher them.
I know this game is kind of weird of like, oh, we're going to be safe here. Let's not kill the animals, but you're going out and killing the creatures and getting their body parts and bringing them.
Yeah, but those are beasts. Those are animals. They're not even animals. They're monsters.
Yeah.
You're fine to kill them.
Actually, I don't know. I think there are regular creatures out there that are corrupted because you get some of them out in the world to live in your pen. But anyway, you go in, you gather ingredients, talk to some of the citizens. Then come lunchtime, you open your shop. You pick out what menu you want. Menu obviously brings in a certain amount of clientele. Feed them well. When you cook the meals, you have these various mini games of how you're chopping, boiling, and quickly serve their guests. They pay you. Come nighttime, you talk to the warrior that you fed. Depending on the meal you give him, is essentially his playing deck. If first character you start with is Umami, so he obviously has a bunch of Umami cards, which are good against, I think it was bitter. I don't know, but either way,
You either know the flavor palette or it gives it to you. It's
there's
really
a table.
Down.
It's very much like Pokemon, but you give him a meal, which he'll get bonus cards to fight on his trip outside. So come nighttime, he tells you the story of how his trip went, which that is the next gameplay element, which is the actual combat. And the combat is, as Aaron said, done as like a little puppet show. The character goes out, you pick a path where he wants to go. Oh, this path will give you these resources. This path will have more enemies, which can give you other types of food ingredients. And you're trying to get to the end of the path to fight the boss, hopefully close the rift so you can go to the next world. But yes, it's very much in the vein of Slay the Spire, where you're kind of picking your branching path. But as you're kind of learning what your character does, if he fails, you lose some of the loot and you just start over the next day. But that is basically it. Rinse and repeat, either the cozy simulator aspect and the battling aspect. But I really liked this game's diversity of it, because I thought when I first saw this game, I thought it was just a cozy game. And I felt like the trailer showed just really quick of the battling. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. I thought it was just like a little mini game, like something that wasn't part of the main story, like something you can just do as a side activity. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's just you're just an animal doing a farm stuff. Like, whatever, I don't care. But no, it's actually pretty, I will say the thing that is the weakest in this game is the cozy element. The cozy element, when I first was playing it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I felt like I reached the cap of the cozy element maybe a quarter way through the game. And I still had so much more battling to do. And so it was just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to keep repeating my basic tasks when I do the cozy stuff.
Is there a point where you can just kind of be like, I don't want to open the shop tonight? Well, I guess you have to, because you have to feed your battle.
You have to do the shop, but I guess you don't have to do the morning collecting and petting the animals and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Because you could buy ingredients if you have the money.
Yeah, because at least early on, I felt like I was getting money pretty easily, at least.
Yeah, I have quite a bit.
Like, there are random mini games on the cozy element, which, by the way, Clamors was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was
Clamors.
I had a lot of fun with Clamors. So there's a lot of mini games there, but you're totally right. Like, that element feels really, really stupid. So that comes to, you mentioned the first part that I think is actually genuinely kind of a clever way of handling this game. And that is the meal you feed the warrior is what cards he goes out with when he's fighting.
Yeah.
So when you're preparing this meal, you kind of, I don't know, it's like a board.
A Tetris grid.
That you fit these items on before you serve him his meal, and then he goes out. And I thought that was a clever way of doing this. I was actually kind of into that. I thought that was really interesting. So it almost made me feel like I wish the cozy elements kind of affected that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So make me do a mini game, and depending on how I do on it determines how good those ingredients can be in the food. So much like you do in the game, a card can be worth 1 point. It can be worth 6 points. It can be worth 4 points. Well, oh crap, I did really bad on my mini games. He's got a lot of ones. We're not going to go very far on this, or he's got a bunch of 2s and 3s. We're not going to win a lot of these battles. I think it would have been cool if they added the cozy element, had way more of an effect on how you served those meals. It really doesn't, though.
No, the only thing how good you cook the meals is how much money you get from the guests, which doesn't do anything for the battling.
No.
Yeah.
No, because that stuff is really, really easy. That is not. It like makes it seem like, oh, you got to get it quick, and it's not hard to do.
Yeah, that's one thing
It
that
is
really
super simple.
irritated me.
That's
When you
not
cook
difficult.
the meals, all the meals come out at once, and you're just handing it to
Hand them.
people, and it's like
Yep.
you have a timer, and it's like 2 minutes to walk 2 feet, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna clearly beat this timer.
So
They want you to think it's like gonna, it's a real nail biter. It's not. It's not at all.
the thing, so one thing I think maybe we're overlooking a little bit, and maybe I'm wrong, is in some ways I think that Beastro it's using cozy as an element. Yeah, so just because it's a fairly popular genre, I think it's also just saying, hey, we're going to take the difficulty down in this a little bit, and not purely from an accessibility standpoint. Andrew's laughing at me, so maybe I'm wrong with the difficulty.
You're making a good point, because I want to bring up the battling is actually kind of hard. But go ahead, finish.
Yeah,
I
would agree.
It absolutely is, but I think it's still fairly simple. It's not. There's not a lot of layers to it. Like when you think about like Slay the Spire, there's 5-6 different like buffs you can add, debuffs you can add, like all these different things. And maybe I just didn't progress far enough in Beastro, but I didn't see there being like all those different buff types and debuffs. It's just the colors of the cards and the number on the color of the card. That is basically what it is. And you have to really kind of play that strategically.
No, but then the cards have themselves have effects.
They do. Okay, so I didn't get any of those apparently.
Yeah. Because like there's some cards where it's like, oh, if you use this as an enhancer, it'll do this. Oh, if you just keep this card in your hand, it'll get a little stronger. Or if you keep this card, you have a chance of breaking it.
Maybe I just didn't pay attention to what they were telling me. It's another real.
Well, it actually took me a while too to figure that out, that they did those.
But I guess
the battling aspect of it is pretty challenging. Like it took me a while to kind of figure out. I want to say not on your first run. Your first run's kind of like a tutorial.
Yeah.
But my first run that was not a tutorial, I think I made it to the second monster and I was dead. And I was like, man, that kind of wrecked me. Like I never had a card that was ever going to win that fight.
Yeah.
And
the bosses are super hard.
Yeah, I was like, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what I did wrong there. That's where you kind of really start to master how you're serving the food. But you kind of go out there a little bit unprepared because I didn't know what I was going up against. So you're kind of feeding him, trying to balance him out. But then you get out there and you're like, oh, I was going up against a bunch of stuff I was never going to be able to beat.
Yeah,
so
your deck is just completely useless.
Assuming then it's like the images that are on the cards, because I noticed that like there's cards that have like a fireball or a tornado or things like that on there. But at least for the most part, I was just beating them, and if they weren't, it was like, all right, I take a hit, and it wouldn't. Maybe I could do it because, like I don't know. I probably just didn't notice enough of these elements, I guess.
Yeah. Like so how the battling works. To me, like the battling actually was super confusing. It took me a handful of runs to kind of figure out what was going on. The thing that kind of irritates me with the battling is there's no in between. Either you're going to hurt the monster or they're going to hurt you. There's no trading of like, oh, I'll do 2 damage to him, but I'll take 5 damage from him. No. You either hit or get hit. That's it. And so especially when it comes to the bosses is where it's like extra hard to kind of balance that out, because the bosses have super high value cards, and if you do not beat their value card is when you're going to get hit and not do any damage to him. So, and as Aaron said, sometimes you don't know what the boss is, so there's 6 different flavors, and you have to have the flavor that either matches him or is its weakness. So if you do any other flavor that's not that, you're taking damage, and it's like, and you're not going to win the fight. You're instantly going to lose no matter how strong of a card you have, which is, it's very difficult.
And you can you can enhance it though with the card, like the enhancement flavor of the one you're playing, right? Like, but you can't play an enhancer card of the counter flavor.
Correct. Every flavor has a counter, and they also have a booster.
An enhancer. Yeah.
Yeah, enhancer. So you want to try to play the enhancer with it. Like I think umami's was sweetness or something like that, or salt. I don't know, one of them. But yeah, if you played it with it, it would essentially like double the value of your card and you would be really strong. So you kind of want to build a deck that has a good amount of those. But if you're going against, I think it was like bitter that umami is weak against, your deck is completely a wash if you just have umami cards.
Now, do you only play as umami too? Because I met the bitter spirit. I just didn't see if I got to actually battle with the bitter spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, I assumed you did.
There's 5.
Yeah.
There's umami, bitter, sweet, salty, and
shouldn't there be 6?
Sour.
There's 6 on the wheel.
I know, but there's not one for everyone. And I think I don't think it was sour. Maybe sour.
Do they explain that, or is that just another plot hole?
I guess just another plot hole.
You can't be like, hey, there's a spirit for every flavor except this one, but we don't tell you why.
Yeah, we don't talk about don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. Throwback to 2023 there.
But yeah, I liked the battling. I thought the battling was pretty cool. It's kind of a steep learning curve, and that's what I mean. Like it was harder for me to progress through the battling system as opposed to the cozy system. Like I was pretty much maxed out, best equipment, everything, like a quarter way through the game. And it's like, okay, I should be smoking the battling system because I'm getting the best ingredients. So in theory, I should be destroying the battling system. But no, it was still very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's really about maxing out as much space of that plate as you can without too much of counterbalancing the flavors or whatever.
Yeah, because you at least want a card of each flavor. Because like I said, if you're going against someone who's only doing a certain thing and if you don't have something to counter it, you're done. Like you just cannot win.
That was my problem when I went out. Is I didn't have anything I could really go up against him. So I'm like, I'm literally just getting hit. I have nothing I can do. Because like Andrew said, there was no way to counter it. It was just like either you're going to hit or you're getting hit. And I was getting hit. So that part is a little tricky. For a game that feels really simple and cozy, that part was oddly challenging.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I was like finding even strategically, it's like getting used to playing the counters were actually some of the best cards to play, because your 3 to their 5 or whatever automatically turns into a 3. Well, I guess 3 to 2 or whatever. But like those counters, because it halves the damage of the enemy's card. So in some cases, those can be better than like what you're playing if you're matching the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you counter, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think is funny, Keith, when you said like, because I agree with you when you're like, oh, I feel like this game is meant to be more accessible with like its coziness. But yeah, the battling system was way more difficult.
I still think that's more of an, like, I don't want to say an education thing because that's a weird way to say it, but like the game doesn't really explain it to you type of thing. Because ultimately,
does, super briefly.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like it doesn't describe like how important setting the table, so to speak, for your spirit is and things like that. Because beyond that, like the actual battle element itself is pretty simple. I don't want to say it's like a rock paper scissors, but it kind of is just a simple rock paper scissors of the 3 colors that you're looking for against whatever given card you're playing against.
There's 6 colors.
Right, but I'm saying like if they play an umami card, you either want, having the umami card, which would be the winning card, your tying card, or the losing card. And the losing card just happens to be like 4 categories of flavor.
Yeah.
But having the balance and just really getting used to building the way those plates are, I guess. Like if you can master that, I think the battling itself is fairly simple if you're setting yourself up in that plate portion. Because there is the element too where it's like, and I don't know if this actually impacts the values of your cards, but where they're like, hey, I want fish with this meal. So you have to make sure, or you don't have to, but you want to make sure you put a fish on the plate in some capacity.
Yeah, every meal the warrior wants has a preference. Either, I want milk, I want fish, I want meat, I want rice. And if you do that, you actually gain uh not favored, but like you get an emotional connection to that character, which is easy to do. It's capped out at 5. So you literally
So
you
none of
fill the
that
request
matters then.
5. No, it does matter because every character has a base deck. So the first guy, Umami, his cards don't do anything, but as you gain favor points to him, they evolve. They'll get stronger. And eventually, too, they actually heal him. His basic deck will start to heal him. The bitter guy, his, I think, gives him shield once you level him up. The bunny, the sweet one, she gets extra attack when you level up her deck. So each one kind of has a specialty as well. So yeah, the bunny, she's super low health, but very high attack. Bitter is kind of more defensive. Umami is more of a healer. So they each kind of have their own thing. And so as you're leveling up, you just level up their base deck.
Okay.
But like I
But I
said,
don't feel like
it's easy to
those
do.
elements, though. I don't feel like those little details were ever really discussed.
Nope,
The
they weren't.
evolution, no.
I mean,
Which,
and I can see how as you play those more, you're gonna like at least kind of
Yeah.
understand those differentiations between the characters. But yeah, I don't feel like it does any way of like explaining that to you.
no, but now that I think about it, I thought the battle tutorial was actually pretty long.
Yeah.
But I realized when you get into it, it was long, but it still didn't explain half of it.
The tutorial literally says, you'll figure it out. It literally tells you, like, trial by fire,
So
you'll figure it out.
I realized as they're probably building it, this was clearly they had the mind for this. Like they
Yeah.
knew what they wanted to build here. But it's kind of like when you're playing a card game with somebody. Like this happened just the other night. I hate card games. I don't really like doing that type of stuff, but I was dragged into one.
Magic the
And
Gathering?
No, it's called Swoop. It's
Oh.
played with 2 decks of cards. And, they're like, it's super, super easy. And it is actually super easy, but it takes you a while. And you're still kind of like, wait, what does this do? What does this do? I feel like that's how this was built, was like, they're kind of explaining it to you, and they're probably halfway through explaining it to you, and you're like, ah, crap. Like, we can't do another, 15 slides on this. You'll just figure it out. I think
There's weird little elements of things that they're easy to understand, but we can't describe every situation to you type of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the cozy elements were really scaled out of this thing. And I really wish the game super hyper focused on the food elements and the battling elements, because I do think that's their strongest suit here. Like, this is clearly what this game was built around. So those elements I just wish were, especially the food element, I wish was just a little bit better.
I'll disagree with you. I actually think they need to make the cozy stronger. Because like I said, I maxed out the cozy. Because that's the thing of like, even if I don't understand the battling, if I could just get god tier ingredients, like I don't need to figure it out. My cards are just amazing. But I felt like I am at a cap with the cozy. And it's just like, well, now I need to figure out the battling and how to maximize it. But if I could just be like, oh, I'll just get better ingredients.
And maybe I should clarify. I just think like the cozy stuff wasn't doing anything. And obviously I offered a suggestion earlier on, like I wish there was a way that cozy element fed directly into the food.
Yeah.
How strong it was. So I'm like, well, then get rid of the cozy elements. Let's just make it, the cooking is way more detailed. Let's just get rid of the cozy and let's just say cooking is super detailed.
Yeah.
And how you're progressing in your cooking affects how good your meal is, affects how the warrior progresses. That's what I would have done.
I agree with that. Yes.
Well, because that's what
like if the name called Beastro, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lot more cooking stuff. Like I'm going to be more about that. And it's kind of not. The cooking mini games are the same things over and over again. They're very simple. And all they do is just improve the quality, as we said, improve the quality for you to give to the generic citizens, which they'll just give you more money. And
Yeah,
it's
who
like,
cares?
okay, but like there's not a lot to spend the money on.
Oh, actually, there's one more element to this that is even like lamer. Is lamer a word? It's lamer-est. The the ability for you to decorate your restaurant.
Yep.
Like
Very
it's
minimal.
pointless. It doesn't. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. To me, that's what I'm saying.
Actually,
Like, get
nope.
rid of that stuff.
Decorating your restaurant does. It adds appeal, which will bring
So?
more people into the restaurant.
Yep.
So
More money.
again,
More money. Yeah.
Okay. I don't care about that. I don't care about those
Yeah.
elements.
But
You just
that does
acknowledge
have an
it.
effect. Decorating your character does nothing.
Well, because
It doesn't.
I think still going to Aaron's point of just really making it more about the cooking, and I will agree with this because it's a cool element that the loot you're getting out in your battles is ingredients to put into your fights. So
Yep.
it's about the further you progress, the better the elements you have, the better elements you have, the better meals you can cook, the better meals you can cook, the better you can get further into role. Like that's the card builder thing, and I still think the cozy elements are fun in this, and I you know, again, there's a lot of mini games. Even the like the actual roguelike runs have mini games in them. You know, instead of say a Slay the Spire, and this is where I'm trying to think of this. At least still there's a part of me that feels like maybe this is trying to have some accessibility. Is that instead of like a bunch of RNG on every little random place you stop across in the map, it's like, hey, here's some rock you can mine, and it's just a little mini game. Here's, you know, this thing that you're gonna try to collect, and here's a different version of a mini game to collect that. Like little things, elements like that felt like it was just trying to be more fun, but they almost made the battling more difficult than they intended to. And what we want is them to lean into that more. I think if they made the battling less difficult, this game actually would have fit what it was trying to do better, if that makes sense.
See, that's the thing, though. I don't have an issue with the difficulty of the battling. Like, I think for a certain person, that is a 100%. When Andrew says somebody tells them that this game surprised them, I bet you that was based around the battling. I bet the battling is what was like, oh, this is surprisingly kind of deep and interesting. So I don't think they needed to tone that part down. And I just think they needed to double down on the build up to the battles. Like that restaurant part, there's something there. Like that's a really, really cool concept. I think it just needed to do more. The little basic mini games, like again, as much as I like Slammers, but Slammers didn't do anything. There was no point in that mini game. There really wasn't.
Fair.
Going fishing,
Fishing was
fine.
boring. No, fishing wasn't
Yeah,
fun.
it's like, yeah, again, you can use it as a food, but okay. And you have like large fish you can catch, but it doesn't do anything. So it's just like, get rid of that stuff. Like that's just, that part just, that it just was wasting my time.
Yeah. And then also, too, you're getting experience points, which gives you chef points, which lets you learn new recipes. I have like 20 points, but it won't let me. Like, there's literally recipes that are just behind a wall. And anytime I opened a wall down, I could get all the recipes. Like, there was definitely a balancing issue with the experience points because I have so many points, but I can't unlock anything. And it's just like, okay.
Oh, because you
Kinda
need to
lame.
have like got the like.
Yeah,
got
you're
their
missing an
ingredients.
ingredient. That's the wall. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Once you discover that ingredient, you get new recipes.
So you're getting all the ingredients you need for, say, like recipes 2 through 5 in a train.
Yep.
But the first one, you just can't get the final ingredient to unlock, basically.
Yeah.
That's
basically.
that's
So
bad
it's
balancing.
just weird. Like when I saw I was getting experience points, I was like, "Oh, cool! Does this mean I could get my chopping better, my boiling better?" No, it's just to learn new recipes. Like there is a lot of things that I felt like they had ideas for, they just didn't flush it out quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron had it best. If we could rebuild this, just make all those elements make the battling, or like
Yep.
improvements to the battling, and I think that would been a cool touch to it.
Yeah. But let's move on though. Graphics though. The art style of this game is really nice. It's really cool. The creatures are really cool looking creatures. It's very bright and colorful. That's the other thing that surprises me. This is a very bright and colorful game, but they keep reminding you, like, no, this is end time. Like we're like one of the last remaining villages. Everyone's dead, and it's like, oh man, like I keep forgetting this game's actually kind of bleak. But yeah, as Aaron said, the puppet show battling system I think is a really cool element. I like just the little stick figures kind of doing these animations. Super clever. I really like this game's art style.
That was by and far my favorite. I thought the like overworld cozy. The graphics were good and everything looked really neat. I did like all of that, but at the end of the day, the battling is the by and far coolest aspect of the art style in this, because it even has like a hand drawn type of feel to it, that it's really fun. And it shakes things up. You don't see that a ton in games, I don't think, and I like that a lot.
The cozy world is colorful, but it's kind of flat. Everything's flat.
No, my biggest complaint, I hate the town. Who designed
No,
this
that's what I'm
town?
saying.
Oh,
The
it's
town
poorly
has
designed.
no.
Oh, yeah.
I got lost. Like, I've put a lot of hours in this game, and I'm still like, I don't know where I'm going. The beach is like 2 miles long, but there's nothing you do on the beach. You collect like 3 shells. The rest of the beach is just empty. No point of
Yeah.
it. That's the other
Yeah,
do.
there's
This
sometimes
play Slammers,
there's sometimes
Andrew.
you're kind of
Yeah.
running up these stairs thinking I could cut over to the other side,
Yeah,
and it's just
it's
a dead end. And I was like, why is this even here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of NPCs you can't talk to.
Yeah, that's another big cozy element that's missing this game. There's no town building. You're not.
No one to romance.
Yeah, you're not doing
Yeah, not a
jobs for the
single
town.
romance.
Hey, somebody wants a sandwich. Can you cook them a sandwich? Nope.
There is
none of that.
there is a job board, I thought. I don't
No.
know how. What's that little board?
There is a
you can go
board,
to?
but no, it just like you don't.
There's just
collect anything
people
from
like
it.
leaving notes around the town.
Yeah,
It's like, this is where jobs would go.
yeah.
Gosh, I assumed that was going to be a job board, and I was like, maybe I'm just waiting to do something for that.
Nope.
No, signing the guest book? Nothing.
No, you just read a funny note. Anytime a new warrior joins the town, they write a funny note. That's about it.
Okay.
There's also an achievement to read the book, so there you go.
Well, I guess there's that. I was gonna. This is the thought I had earlier: is that there is this weird, like, even comical element. There's puns everywhere, like the names of the characters. Your character's named Panko.
Yeah.
All the spirits are flavors, and it's obviously designed to be that way too. It's just,
And then they speak like Pokemon too.
yeah, like there's all these fun little elements, and then I don't know, at the end of the world. So that's kind of neat. And that dialogue, there's no voice acting.
No, yeah,
It's
no
all
voice
just
acting,
music.
just music. Which the music's fine. I enjoyed it, but yeah, this is a game you don't need audio for. You definitely could just listen to a podcast, watch TV. Yeah, and I mean, there's a good amount of dialogue. Like, there is a good amount of story of like them explaining kind of stuff going on. Some of it's kind of repeating dialogue, but yeah, there's no audio, which is kind of a miss too.
What do you think they should sound like? Because this game feels like one they'd give us the.
No, I want them to
voices.
do the loudest like animal sounds they're doing. So if it's a dog just bark, 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 like every time he's talking and it's translating, that would not get annoying. The crow just
just 2001 era CD-ROM sound effects of animals.
I feel like that actually is super funny, but like that would get so old so quick. But man, that cracked me up.
I love when Andrew just cracks himself up. Like, he just has
I'm
like a good
hilarious,
thought.
Aaron.
Yeah, and I just like, he's over there just loving it.
Yeah, so audio is just okay. Yeah, the achievements are fine as well. Nothing too hard. It is very much just as you're progressing through the game, you're going to be getting these achievements. There's no like, oh, beat this game on hard difficulty without losing a single life. None of those. So everything is just keep playing the game. They're very easy to obtain. So overall for achievement hunters, it's not too bad. For when you're looking for time to beat, not a terribly long game. It's about 12 hours to kind of beat the whole thing. 9 hours to do the main story if you want. But yeah, like I said, the biggest barrier is once you figure out the battling system, you can kind of beat the game a bit easier, but it'll take a little time. But yeah, let's get into our final thoughts on Beastro. As I said, for me, this is a game. This was a surprise for me. I thought it was just going to be a kind of a simple, basic, cozy game. Not much to it, but then I discovered this game actually has an impressive battling system. And I really liked the battling system. I thought it was really cool. I actually thought its story was pretty interesting. It's definitely a game that even kind of tells you, trial by fire, figure out the battling system. It'll be a little difficult. I found the cozy elements to be a little lackluster. This game is just chock full of minigames, which I liked the minigames. They do start to evolve a little bit to get a little bit harder. But once again, I don't think I've ever failed a minigame. You're graded on like a bad, good, medium, amazing kind of thing. And I got like tops rating on all of them. They're not hard, but it's still fun. It is a thing where it's just like, now you're doing this minigame and they're quick. They're like 5 to 10 seconds long. this mini game, now this mini game, now this one. So it is a whole. You're practically playing Mario Party here, just by yourself with no friends. How I usually play Mario Party. But yeah, it's a good game. This is definitely, I would say, at least check it out. Like Aaron said, may not be for everyone, but this was something that was kind of a surprise. So for me, I'm gonna give this a 75.
Yeah, I really like this, and I think the biggest thing is I think it was surprising because it was very clear there was going to be some cozy elements, and I certainly don't dislike cozy games as much as Aaron does, but they're not a genre that generally I care much about because I just I don't care about video game relationship building. It feels like a weird thing, and just generally it's such a heavy element in cozy games. Um, I I I liked immediately though that there was the deck builder aspect to it, and that was what drew me in to want to play it more. And I think it's kind of cool because the fact that the overall battling system it's pretty simple. It's got some intricacy, but I don't think it has a ton of layers overall still. And I again maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think it's so complicated that like it's inaccessible. Sometimes games like Slay the Spire, they're so RNG heavy that they can be frustrating or hard to get into if you don't like it. That having some control over it I think is kind of nice. So I liked that, and I don't know, I thought it was surprising and just kind of fun. It wasn't the best of anything I've played, but it was fun in just about every way. I guess I kind of figured Andrew was going to go higher on this. 75 always feels low, but I feel like I
It's
don't want
not.
to go. It's
75
not.
is not.
It's not though, and that's the thing is, mostly I'm just more like, oh, I was hoping you were going higher because then I could comfortably say 75. But I'm gonna go with 75 too.
Yeah, I'm still on the hunt for a really good cozy game. This one to me, the cozy elements aren't really there. In that case, I wish it just leaned heavier into kind of that battle elements. I think it had something there. I think the kind of making meals to kind of help build up your warrior and what your warrior's kind of skills are when they go out there is kind of an interesting idea. And I can't really recall seeing it played out quite that way. I just wish it did more of that. Get rid of the need to go feed customers, get rid of the need for me to have to go around and pick up grubs or shrubberies and stuff like that. Get rid of that stuff. I don't think that stuff is really helping, and kind of took the game down a bit, kind of turned it into a little bit of a drag because I feel like a big part of your day is doing that stuff, and that stuff just was not fun or all that interesting. So all in all, this was just not too great of an experience for me. I'm gonna put this at 66.
So would you say is your biggest hang up for cozy games? You said just lack of progression?
Yeah, like to me, if the story were really good, I could probably get behind a cozy game, but that kind of defies the point of a cozy game because a story is only good if there's tension and agency. So, story would be tough. I think the loop itself has to be a little bit more than water plants, bake a pie.
Well,
It's just none of that stuff is going to do much for me.
I know a game. I don't know if I exactly call it a cozy game, but Moonlighter.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
that's more of a
'cause isn't
dungeon
that-
crawler.
But running that shop and you upgrade the town, I don't think that has the relationship side of it so much.
I don't
Well,
care.
the second one,
Well, I'm just saying in
think
terms of
that-
the technically the cozy elements of a game.
yeah.
But I think I would dare say that like running the shop and everything, because the fact that you can kind of run that game on a spreadsheet ultimately. There's perfect ranges, at least the first one. There was perfect ranges for everything that you could buy and sell basically.
Yeah.
And it was still just so it became about what your runs were. But that cozy element was fun. And I liked that. So
Yeah.
that could I
Well,
think I think
Moonlighter 2 is
It's still
it's
in
on
preview.
Game Pass.
Moonlighter
coming
2
out,
is
But it's
so
on Game
good.
Pass, so yeah.
Yeah, but it's only in preview, so it's not completed. It only has like the first 2 chapters, and I beat the first 2 chapters. And Moonlighter 2 is awesome. I cannot wait till that game's completed.
so so it has upgraded from the first one like you thought it was a big improvement?
Yeah. Because in the first one, it really is just like you got the loot, but you sell it in your shop, and the shop itself was kind of basic. But in the second one, you're adding a lot more. There's now like special dungeons. There's now like pets you can get, which the pets I think they just had a patch where you can now do something with the pets. But the last time I played it, the pets weren't available. But same with like decorating your shop. Like they did add a lot more elements too in the second Moonlighter, and the story's actually pretty good. The very first Moonlighter actually had a pretty cool twist at the end of it.
All right. So I guess we'll have to look forward to that one then. Because, yeah, I know you've been high on Moonlighter for a long time.
Yeah. Moonlighter is probably one of my favorite Game Pass hidden gems. I think it's still on Game Pass.
I think
Once
so.
again, it's one of the longest running Game Pass games next to Stellaris. But
It is.
Stellaris
I
is
just pulled it
finally
up.
leaving Game Pass.
Did you ever buy it? Said it's
No,
It's on
I might.
sale
It's
for
still
like
on sale, I think, for like $6.
yeah, it's
I
like
feel
deep
I should buy it.
discount.
Yeah. Especially too, since I already own like 3 of the expansions for it.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
But anyway, let's wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. I've been your hardcore gamer, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird0152. Please make sure you go to GamePassGrabBag.com. Check out our website. Top right, you'll find the links to all of our stuff. Check out our YouTube. I'm trying to stream more videos there, especially some other games that aren't on Game Pass there. I've currently been playing a good amount of Directive 8020 from Supermassive Games. It's pretty interesting. But
I
yeah,
keep forgetting that came out.
I know there literally was no word on it.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it, Aaron, because I know you're a big fan of Supermassive. But yeah, I'll try to have a review video of that game soon once I finish it. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if you guys want to say anything. Check out Hill City Cards, Aaron's YouTube channel.
You never
My
really
name
mentioned
is
our
Dave
Discord.
Gordon Ramsay. I could teach you how to make a spreadsheet and a flan.
No, he makes the beef in the bread.
Beef Wellington.
There you go.
And a Roth IRA.
Love you all. See you again next week.
Bye.